that you could buy toasters made in America, and you can't anymore. They're all made in China. What's the deal? And I pointed out that number one, there were tax laws that made it much harder for you to keep your money overseas and not pay taxes on it, which is something that most of these big multinational corporations, Apple's probably at the top of that list, are doing right now. And number two, there were import tariffs when you wanted to import goods. I remember when we were importing these picture tubes from Taiwan back in the late 70s, and Jerry Schneiderman and I were running this company, LSI Systems. We bought full-page ads on the back cover of Byte magazine. Remember Byte, B-Y-T-E? It was one of the earliest computer magazines. And as Jerry and I had this little partnership, and that we started in the late 70s, and it was fascinating. And I flew to both Taiwan and South Korea. We ended up doing business mostly, and Japan. We ended up doing mostly business in Japan, actually. It was with a subsidiary of Hitachi that was making low radiation CRTs, cathode tubes, picture tubes, that you could use in a computer monitor. Mostly back then it was the first generation IBMs and the TRS-80 Model 3s. And those things were old TV tubes, and they blew radiation out 2-3 feet, X-rays. And so we were importing low X-ray picture tubes, for people who didn't want that exposure. And I had to fill out all these custom forms, and we had to pay tariffs, and it was just a mess. And that's why companies weren't going overseas, unless that was the only place you could find the products. So anyway, a bunch of good reasons for that. But picking up your phone calls here, let's see here, Kevin in Plummer, Idaho. Hey, Kevin?
Reagan.
Union experience and like that. Kevin, thank you for the call. I mean, this is where we're at right now, and I really believe that when Joe Biden, a couple of nights ago, what was it, last Thursday, I think he gave his speech, and he said, the government is us. It is we the people. Barack Obama never said that. Bill Clinton never said that. They were still living in this world where the Reagan paradigm was dominant, even in the Democratic Party. And Biden has said, screw that we are going to take on Reaganism head on. We are going to fight that battle. And this is the opening cry. That was the Declaration of Independence from Reaganism.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
And it is, as Joe Biden would say, a big friggin' deal. It really and truly is. Back with more of your calls right after this. It is the last week of the Free Speech TV Pledge Drive. Today is Monday. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that's it. No more opportunities for you to jump in now and help out Free Speech TV in their time of need. This is, as I've pointed out before, and I'll point it out again, we're still way behind on our fundraising goals. Free Speech TV needs your help and support. Free Speech TV is a television network that is entirely supported by its viewers. And if you are getting this program via Free Speech TV, and I know a lot of folks do, please consider becoming a contributor to Free Speech TV if you never have before. And I know many of you haven't, and this is a great opportunity. It's a small step for one person, a big step for Free Speech TV, to paraphrase, who was it who landed on the moon? But you get my point, that we need to be helping Free Speech TV. You and I, we need to keep this network on the air, because without Free Speech TV, where is a good progressive voice on television? There are 3 conservative networks now, television networks, 3 of them. This is the only progressive network out there, and they've done a great job. I mean, the management of Free Speech TV, the network started out as this kind of little engine that could, back in the day, it was 20 years ago, more or less, that a couple of guys named John got together and started this thing, and originally it was all VHS videos of speeches and events being hour-long videos, and they would physically just change them on the videotape player. And then they got on DirecTV and they got on Dish Network. I went into the negotiations on one of those actually and helped make that happen. Now they're on Roku. Now they're on Apple TV. Free Speech TV is all over the place. They've got their substantial internet presence at freespeech.org. And it's all at risk if we can't keep this thing going. Free Speech TV needs your help. We have built this network, all of us, you and me together. Tell your friends about Free Speech TV. Spread the word about Free Speech TV. I liked a half a dozen or a dozen tweets just today from people who were mentioning, either hashtag Free Speech TV or at Free Speech TV, and or who just mentioned it. If you put my name in there at Thom_Hartmann, it'll pop up for me and I can like it. And let's all collectively promote this network and show the good word, because we need to get the word out. We need more people watching Free Speech TV and, thus a larger donor base, just as a practical thing. So this is the first day of the last week of the Free Speech TV pledge drive, and you need to call now, 877-378-8669, and become part of an extraordinary television network. Become a member of Free Speech TV. With a $20 gift, you have your choice of the Thom Hartmann University bumper sticker or the Free Speech TV Wildflower Seed Pack. With a $50 gift, you have your choice of the Free Speech TV webcam cover or the new tote bag, the new Free Speech TV tote bag. With a $75 gift, you have your choice of the official Thom Hartmann Program mug or the official Free Speech TV hat. With a $100 gift, you can get 2 official Free Speech TV face masks, which are perfect to wear, over your N95 mask or your surgical mask, so that you're double masked and you are super safe. I know I'm going to be doing that when I go in for my vaccine in a week and a half. So finally got an appointment. So better days are coming, right? And the Free Speech TV face mask, a great way to tell people about Free Speech TV. With a $120 gift, there's the Grow Social Change box, the Wildflower Seed Pack, the Windowsill Herb Garden, the new tote bag, and the sunglasses. Or you can get the Ask Me About Free Speech TV t-shirt. Or you can get my new book, it just came out last month, The Hidden History of American Oligarchy, which is a stark look at the right-wing takeover of America. With a $240 gift, you can either join our meet and greet, or we'll send you a copy of both my Oligarchy book and my Monopoly book, both books. With a $360 gift, there's the Thom Hartmann University Spring Box, which includes the Thom Hartmann bumper sticker, the Free Speech TV bumper sticker, the seed pack, the Wildflower Seed Pack, the Herb Garden, the tote bag, the Free Speech TV tote bag, the Free Speech TV official hat, the official Free Speech TV sunglasses. We're building quite a little, empire of goods here. And an autographed copy of The Hidden History of Oligarchy by Thom Hartmann. All the books, by the way, all of my books that are available on Free Speech TV, and there's others as well on the website, are autographed by me. So if you want any of my books, that's a great place to start. And with a $1,000 gift, you can get on the list to come to Portland and hang out with us when we're all well vaccinated and we're traveling safely again. And I'm guessing that's going to be this fall, maybe this coming winter. We'll see, but maybe even as early as summer. I mean, President Biden is just ripping up the pavement here. He's making this thing happen. So you need to do the same, right? Get on board. Help us, move this little engine that could. Help us move free speech TV, into this new era. This New Deal, as it were, era. As Reaganomics dies and progressivism rises, you can become part of it. Please call now. On the Science Revolution this week, Beyond Nuclear's Kevin Camps drops by. On the 10th anniversary of the Fukushima crisis, just like the COVID pandemic, opinion on Fukushima is split between those who are horrified by the health risks and those who are worried about the economic damage that nuclear power does. Investigative journalist Greg Palast drops by on how Stacey Abrams is showing real courage in Georgia with her opposition to the Vogtle nuclear plant, the last and only nuclear plant under construction in the U.S. She opposes charging Georgians ruinous electric bills to finish it. Also in Geeky Science, good news on CBD. There's a new report out showing it reduces plaque and improves cognition in rats with Alzheimer's, and hopefully soon studies will start on humans. Tune into the Science Revolution wherever fine podcasts are available. Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. Just looking at Twitter. Ted Cruz is out there defending Tucker Carlson for trashing women in the military. And somebody points out, when Donald Trump said that your wife was ugly, you wouldn't even defend your own wife, Ted. What is this? And then Tom Cotton, he's, the guy's another one of these white supremacist Republicans who wants to be president. And he has been implying that law enforcement groups who have come out in support of Vanita Gupta, that they are doing so, who's a woman of color, that they are doing so because they were pressured by the Biden administration. And the law enforcement groups are coming back going, no, we've worked with her. We think she'd be great over at the Department of Justice. Come on, give me a break. But Tom Cotton is, but she's not white. You can't be happy about her. I mean, that's not literally what he's saying, obviously, but it certainly seems to me to be the subtext, shall we say. By the way, there are two people have been arrested, a couple actually, in the murder of Officer Brian Sicknick, the police officer who died at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. And Joe Biden is planning a tax hike, the first since 1993. This is starting to get interesting. Oh, and another data point for you, this from DU. 35% of New Yorkers, only 35% of New Yorkers want Andrew Cuomo to resign. People are saying, yeah, let's see the result of the investigation, right? It's not like there's an election next week. It's not like we have to make a quick decision. It's getting very interesting. So time moves on, and so does politics. Anyhow, let's pick up your phone calls and see what's on your mind. Kurt in Akron, Ohio. Hey, Kurt, what's up?
Hey, Tom. It's been a month since I last called you when I got my second COVID shot, and I've been doing great ever since.
Great.
So
I hope to join those ranks, Kurt.
Well, I hope my wife just got her first one yesterday, and my parents got their second one on Saturday, so I feel really good about that. The reason I'm calling is, first of all, one thing you failed to mention, and I heard it on your show years ago when you had my Senator Sherrod Brown on, something that the Democrats don't talk about, and I wish they would more, is what was in that 2017 Trump tax scam that people like a guy who's running or wanting to run for either governor or senator, he can't make up his mind yet, in the state of Ohio by the name of Jim Renacci, voted for, and that was, there's a 50% off coupon for businesses like Jane Timken's Timken Company in Stark County, Ohio, to move her business to Mexico or overseas. So instead of paying at 21%, they're actually paying 10.5%.
Right. It doubled the incentives. You're absolutely right. If you move your company out of Ohio and into Mexico under the Reagan tax cut bill, your federal income tax drops in half. Pardon?
No, under the Trump tax cut bill.
Oh, did I say? I'm sorry. I've been talking Reagan all day. Yes, Trump. Thank you, Kurt. Under the Trump 2017 tax cut bill, your federal income taxes drop in half. And, you know, you're right. Nobody's talking about that. I've brought it up on this program a couple of times. Sherrod Brown brought it up on this program. Bernie talks about it whenever, I mean, you know, that's a button with him you can push and it just comes right out.
But that's something the Democrats, especially if like Congressman Tim Ryan decides to run for the Senate or for governor of Ohio, I really want to see him talk about that, especially if he goes up against a guy like Renacci, who, oh, by the way, I Facebook private messaged him, and I have the messages, and I can send you the screenshots if you'd like to see him sometime. I called him out on that tax cut that he voted on when he was a member of Congress back in 2017, and he was my congressman at that time. And I said, you know, you voted for something that benefits Donald Trump and the 600 wealthiest Americans, the people that you love so much, but yet you think this 1.9 trillion is horrible for the country and all this stuff. And he actually told me a candidate running for public office, even though he's a private citizen now, but a candidate running for public office potentially asked me to see my balance on my private bank account to prove that he is not benefiting from the tax cut, and then I would have to pay him what he was missing from that tax cut.
Oh, is that weird? This is like, you know, whataboutism raised to an art form. Kurt,
absolutely.
Thank you. I got to move along. I want to catch some other callers here, but thanks for your story. And you are absolutely right, and so right on that. Timothy in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Hey, Timothy, what's up?
Oh, thank you so much, Tom. Hey, I want to talk about the whole Reagan thing and the tips. I recall, I won't go into like when I started working in a restaurant business in 1975, but I do recall in the 80s when Reagan. What he did was, before that, you know, we were making $1.35 an hour. So by the time they took out all the FICA and whatever, your check was zero. But you were responsible. The employee was responsible for putting down the amount of tips. What Reagan did was, his administration said that if the employers didn't show that there was 8% gratuities on their sales, then the IRS would be sent after them. So I remember meetings. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tom. Sorry.
No, finish your thought. I thought you were done.
Meetings and their accountants were saying, like, you guys, you have to do this, and if you're not doing it, we're going to do it for you to make sure, because we want to make sure we do not get audited by the IRS. And back then, I think they had the money to do it, right? They had the money to go after businesses. So.
This is from the April 13th, 1988 edition of the New York Times. The headlines, "Service charges gain as tips are taxed." And I'll just read you the first few paragraphs. Fed up with Congress for taking a bigger bite of tips, the chef and owner of the Briarhurst Manor Inn, Siggy Kraus, has done away with tipping in his restaurant in Colorado Springs. He's added a 20% service charge in his place. The movie said frees him from the expense and record keeping that accompanies taxes and gratuities. Quote, "I can't be a bookkeeper for the government," he said. "There aren't enough hours in the day." Late last year, Congress expanded the employer's share of Social Security taxes to cover all cash tips. The change took effect January 1st of 1988. According to the Reagan administration, which proposed the change, the expanded tax would raise $200 million this year and $1.6 billion over 5 years, when added to an unemployment tax the restaurant owners have had to pay on tips since 1984, also brought to you by Reagan. Restaurateurs say the burden may be too great to bear. There you go. I mean, it's not like it's a secret. It's right there in the New York Times. So
right, and I experienced it. And my point is that they just took the money from us and gave it to the rich people, which is what they always do. Right. I don't know. I could be wrong.
That's absolutely right.
My viewpoint.
No, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. Ruth, Timothy, thank you very much for the call. Ruth in Ione, California. Do I have that right?
Hello. I want to witness some raw history. Anyway, in 1950, I worked in a valve factory in Eaton, I worked in the Eaton Valve factory in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And at a union meeting, we voted whether to let black people into the union or let women work in the foundry. And the women won. And I just think we should be aware that unions were not necessarily perfect in their history. And a lot of them were exclusive of blacks.
Up until the 1960s, yes. Yes, when that became illegal.
1950, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know that, and I know that, my dad worked in the machinist union. He worked at a tool and die shop. It was all white. I don't know that there were, I can't speak to the history of it, but I do know that many of the unions in Lansing, Michigan, where I grew up, were all white unions, and that started to change when I was a teenager in the 1960s. And I think it changed because of the Civil Rights Act, basically outlining a lot of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, spot on. Thank you very much, Ruth, for the testimony from history. Wayne in Las Vegas. Hey, Wayne, you got a minute. What's up?
Real quick, I just want to make a comment regarding the hypocrisy of the Republicans. When they attacked the current legislation, the COVID relief bill, they're not actually attacking what's in it. If you notice, they're attacking the messaging. And so that's how you need to defend it. Just ask them. And then what did the Clear Air Act have to do with clearing up the air, which was passed by Bush?
Yes.
And I'm sure you can think of many other circumstances. They're attacking the message, not what happened, because, the benefits are too popular.
Yeah.
And so they can't really get away with attacking those too much.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where they're coming up with this 9% thing when, it's like, it's so obvious. Anybody can look it up. It's like, but, Republicans have never worried that much about lies that are easy to disprove. Trump is continuing to claim that he won the election when he lost it by 7 million votes. And he lost the Electoral College, too. And Republican governors, like in Georgia, say, yeah, he lost.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit ThomHartmann.com for audio and video archives.
And I think it's important that we acknowledge that lying as a routine way of doing business in the Republican Party did not start with Trump. It started in a big way with Reagan. And welcome back. Bobby in La Puente, California. Hey, Bobby, what's up?
Hey, I love your show, Tom. Give me goosebumps on the union. My experience, I sworn in 73. You took an oath not to snitch on your brother or sister, and I liked it. Okay, I was working part-time. If you got 60 hours a month, you can qualify for medical, regular medical, and it came in handy. Then I got hired permanent. And it just took off. And I met people from the four directions, black, red, yellow, white. And what an experience, brotherhood. I met an African-American brother, threw me on the collard greens, never had them. I love them. You know what I'm saying? I isolated. And not only that, the union came to our rescue once for the young guys. Okay, a guy was a racist, made a racist remark. Me and my brother, he was a Sioux from South Dakota. He says, I got these effing, Indians. So we called the union. The BA came on a dock. Hey, what's your problem with my storage here? When I come here to visit, all they do is bust their butts working. And, man, he shamed that boss. Where we had 7 other business agents real quick, and they were going to shut the company down. Arbitrary Pickett for making a racist remark. Never been so proud. I'm grateful for the union, grateful for free speech, and for the people I met in the union. Union dues, I was paying them when I was on work comp. I paid them. I could have took a withdrawal. No, I paid them. So I have no complaint about that. I shouldn't be here alive if it wasn't for the union. And for the young people, believe me, I can't wait for Alabama, what is Amazon, to be organized. Can you imagine, Tom? Wow, the beacon of light through the South Finally, these people
Yep.
have been being fleeced, and they got cut. Now they're waking up. I'm excited. I got mine, but
I
I'd
am
like
too.
to see others, and get theirs as well. So
I am
you.
completely with you. Yeah, you're welcome, Bobby. Thank you, and thanks for sharing your story. It's a beautiful story. I appreciate it. Thank you. John in Center Ossipee, New Hampshire. Hey, John, what's up? John, watching on YouTube in New Hampshire? Okay. Apparently there is no John there. He's on line one if you want to check it out. There's only now 45 seconds until the break, so I think I'm just going to point out one other little news story here that I think is worth our consideration. People who are close to Donald Trump are leaking that Trump figures that if he gets indicted in New York State, which is a virtual certainty, Letitia James, the Attorney General, and Cyrus Vance, the District Attorney for the city of New York, are going after him, that he's going to depend on Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, which is where he lives now, to refuse to extradite him to New York to be held for trial. Seriously. Here's the headline. Trump allies counting on DeSantis to refuse extradition to New York if ex-president gets indicted. And I think that this is going to get really, really interesting. So just hold that thought, right? It's probably going to be a few weeks, maybe a few months, but it's coming. It is seriously coming. Coming up on 10 minutes before the hour. Stick around. We'll be back with more of your calls right after this. Change starts with you. You can be calling your Democratic or Republican representatives to let them know what you think by calling 202-224-3121. It's the Capitol switchboard. It'll get you right through to them. So with some fancy footwork math, you can take the GDP of the United States, the productivity, the amount of wealth that is produced or goods and services that are produced every year by American workers, and divide it by the number of workers, and what you get is that the average worker in America is producing about $75 an hour worth of value for their employer. And the minimum wage pays them about 10% of that value. Now, back in 1950, the minimum wage paid 30% of the value of the productivity that the average worker is producing for their employer. If we took the minimum wage up to $15 an hour tomorrow, it would still be in the neighborhood of 20%. So there's a strong case for increasing the minimum wage based on history. I lay this all out in the new video that we have just for our people who are supporters of our program over at thomhartmann.com. Welcome back. Boy, what a day, right? So much going on and so much coming. And now there's even talk that Ron DeSantis may refuse to extradite Donald Trump to New York if he gets nailed. Watch this space. Fireworks coming. Probably a month or three down the road, but we'll see. Larry in Tyler, Texas. Hey, Larry, what's on your mind today? Larry? I am not hearing Larry. You got to listen to your phone, not your radio. Michael in Bronx, New York. Hey, Michael, what's on your mind today?
Don't I know that well to listen to the phone? Can you hear me okay, Tom?
Yeah, get your mouth a little closer to the microphone and we'll be good, Michael. What's on your mind?
Oh, I got to talk about Governor Andrew Cuomo. And
okay, you got to get your mouth a lot closer to the microphone, Michael.
How's that?
Fine.
How's that? Okay.
Yeah,
No,
Michael, I'm going to put you on hold and let you talk to Joyce about this. Joe in Robertsville, Missouri. Hey, Joyce, what's on your mind today? Or Joe, excuse me. Hey, Joe, what's on your mind?
Earlier, you were talking about taxes and tax cuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering why Congress does not go after the Reagan, Bush, Trump, and during the Clinton era, tax cuts that the Republicans had pushed through. Get rid of those.
Yeah, which altogether add up to something like $7 or $8 trillion. I don't know why they don't either.
The Republicans are complaining about we don't have money. There's the money if they want to get to it.
I completely agree.
Enjoying your show and enjoying the show for years. You have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too. And there is a report in the news today. I briefly mentioned it, I believe, in the second hour, that the Biden administration is looking at tax increases. And they will not be tax increases on you and me. They will be tax increases on people making over $400,000, which is what Joe Biden promised during the campaign. You'll recall, Donald Trump was going, he's going to raise your taxes. And Biden was like, yeah, if you make over 400 grand, we're going to look at that. Well, apparently they're getting very serious about it. And I think that that's just a fine thing. Thank you very much. Dave in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hey, Dave, what's up?
I have to respectfully disagree with you. I don't think it was Reagan that started the wholesale lying for the Republicans. I think it was Nixon.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
Let's say a long time, first time getting through to you, Tom. Keep up the good work, sir.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks so much. And yeah, yes, Nixon was lying. In fact, John Ehrlichman, let me just read this quote to you, Dave. You'll appreciate this. And it's from the piece that I published on Sunday. Let's see here. Here it is right here. John Ehrlichman told this to reporter Dan Baum back about a decade or so ago. He says, he was talking about that era. He says, you want to know what this was really all about? The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. Do you understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black. But by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. And did we know that we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. That was John Ehrlichman, the chief. I think he was chief of staff in the White House. He was, the right-hand man to Richard Nixon. So, Dave, I agree.
I do have one quick question, though. Wasn't
go for it.
Reagan the one that basically didn't have to tax the stock options? So why don't we bring that back?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he cut tax, the capital gains tax. Yes, and I didn't know about options, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of loopholes, the Wall Street loopholes, essentially. Thank you, Dave. It's great to hear from you. Randall in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Hey, Randall, what's on your mind?
Well, President Biden is a weatherman. He knows which way the winds are blowing. And right now, this is a moment of truth. Either he goes all in, gets rid of the filibuster, does things that means this country can survive as a democracy, or in 4 to 6 years we'll have King Ted and King Tom Cotton, and because they don't care anything about democracy. I mean, they don't care anything about voting. January 6th just showed that. So this is the moment of truth, and he did everything that he needed to do, and I'm a very progressive person, and I'm just thrilled.
Yeah, me too. I recall during the primary, I was saying, I really don't want Joe Biden as our nominee because he has this kind of corporate moderate history, and he doesn't seem particularly articulate, and he was fumbling his answers on the debate stage. I didn't know at the time that he had a serious stuttering problem. But I have been so impressed by this guy, and he is, his middle initials should be FDR, as a caller earlier said.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Randall. I am sold. I am sold on Joe Biden. And with Kamala Harris, I'm waiting for even better. Thanks so much for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget, democracy is not a spectator sport. It starts with you, people. We have to get involved, right? Get active. Get out there. Get active. Tag you're it. Help make democracy work. Help them overcome the filibuster. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Be good to yourself and your friends. And get your vaccine. Have a good one.
You've been listening to Thom Hartmann. For audio and video archives, visit thomhartmann.com.
These companies support the Thom Hartmann Program. They are Gabi.com. Gabi takes the pain out of shopping for insurance. More info at Gabi.com/Tom. Teeth, Smarter Pet Dental Help. More info at teethhealth.com, code TOM. HelloFresh, delivering fresh ingredients and mouthwatering recipes. More info at hellofresh.com, code TOM. Bowl and Branch, crafted for the common good. More information at bowlandbranch.com, code TOM. ExpressVPN, the VPN that just works. More info at expressvpn.com/Tom. And CB Distillery, CBD for sleeping. More info at cbdistillery.com, code TOM.